Hey Gator Nation, we are back once again. This time we are going to talk breakout players. Now listen, I know it's February. I know these could change after spring, but I feel like this is a fun thing to get into. And we have some evidence that would point to these players that I'm about to mention really having huge years next year. So I'm going to talk about two on offense and two on defense. I was on our friend High Top the other night and I was asked this question. So I figured we should talk about it a little bit more in depth over here. Let's start with the offense. So on their show and on here, my number one breakout player to watch is Jaden Baugh. I have loved Jaden Baugh since the spring game last year when, we barely knew who he was, but he is just a hard, fast runner. He's an old school running back, in my opinion. He's fun to watch. He dominated that game, and we've watched him dominate since, right? He had 133 carries, 673 yards. He averaged 5.1 yards a carry. He had 7 touchdowns and a receiving TD on only 4 catches. And all of this was as a true freshman. All of this when there was more hype for some of his teammates. Last offseason, we lost ETN. He headed out to Georgia. And I think that there was maybe some panic among Gator Nation that there might be a little bit of a drop off once he left. And listen, that just didn't happen. And Jaden Baugh is a large part of that. But I do feel like he can be even more integral in the offense this year. I think we will see more runs designed for him. I do think he's a weapon, catching passes in the backfield as well. I don't think that we've seen the best of Jaden Baugh. I think there's a lot left to go. Can he get 1,000 yards? I don't know. Obviously, Napier likes to rotate backs around. He keeps all of his guys healthy. That is a stacked room. That is one of the rooms that, as Gator fans, we are not concerned about at all because they just take care of business. It is a room stacked with studs. So he had 673 yards in the season, but in the first 4 weeks of the season last year, he only had 10 carries total. So what do you think is going to happen when he gets a large chunk of those carries every single game? I think 1,000 yards is possible even with the rotation that we know Coach Napier is going to have. And I think that should be the goal for Baugh. And I think if he hits 1,000 yards, Gator fans are going to be pretty happy about what our record is at that point. Another player to watch on offense, and this, maybe out of left field for some of you guys, but Fletcher Westfall. He played in 4 games last season, 29 total snaps. He had an 80.2 pass block grade, 75.7 offensive grade, and a 72.3 run block grade. Very limited action, obviously, in those 29 total snaps, but all of that grades out well above average. He played 17 snaps against Tulane, and he had a good game there. 76.8 pass block grade, and the Green Wave are nothing to snub your noses at, right? But let me tell you the main reason he is on my list. We had Corey Bender on our show a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that he told me that really stuck out from that interview is that the Gators didn't go after a lineman in the portal because of how much Fletcher Westfall has really come on this offseason. They expect a lot out of him, so much so that they weren't worried about getting another big body in the portal because they believe he's it. He's going to be one of the guys that they rely on heavily next season. And I think that that is so telling, right? He's 6'8", 321 pounds. That's what he's listed at as last year's roster. Anyway, I'm going to be interested to see what his spring size is listed at when UF puts out that updated depth chart. I do think when you get those guys, when they're true freshmen and they head into that sophomore year, you do generally see growth. So I want to know where he is. I want to know where he is on his fitness level. This is someone that always took it really seriously well before getting to UF. So he has that work ethic. He has that dog in him. He was an SEC Fall Academic Honor Roll member, which obviously impressive as well. So great on the field, great in the classroom, really good all-around kid, somebody that you want to play for your team. I'll get right back to the video, but first, I appreciate BetUS for all their support. Just quickly, make sure that you are betting with them and using their code YouTube150. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. You'll also get 125% on your next 2 deposits, all up to $2,000. I appreciate BetUS for their support. Let's move to the other side of the ball. Let's talk a little defense. LJ McCrae is my number 1 defensive player that I'm looking to have a breakout season. He played in all 13 games on defense, and he played special teams too. He finished tied second on the team with 5 quarterback hurries. He had 13 total tackles, 3 of those were solo, and 1 tackle for a loss and 0.5 sacks. He did play 33 snaps against Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl, but he just has all of the tools to really break out and be a dominant force for this defense. Coming off that edge, he's a former 5-star guy. He's got a lot of upside. He came in ready to see the field as a freshman, right? That's what you want out of those 5-star guys when you sign them. And he did not disappoint. He has really good size, 6'6", 264 pounds. Also will be interested to see what his numbers look like when we get that updated roster. He's got a mean streak in him. He's got a motor in him. He's got really long reach. I just think that he is somebody that, especially with some of our linemen that have moved on to the pros, I just think there's going to be an opportunity on that edge for McCrae to really make a difference. Another breakout player I'm going to be watching is Devon Moore. He saw action in 7 games. He had 6 starts out of those 7 games at corner. He did miss week 2 and week 10, 11, and 12 because of an injury. He had 17 tackles, 8 of those were solo, 2 pass breakups, and 1 interception. He is a 3-time SEC Fall Academic Honor Roll member. We love that, right? SEC Community Service Team in 2024. He had 2 tackles and an interception in that Georgia game. Do you remember how much of a stud he was in that game? If he can stay healthy, which I think is kind of the big question here, I really like his skill set. Our defense is better when Devon Moore is in the game. He's closer to 6'3" than 6'2", really long, really rangy. He just makes plays on the ball. He tackles really well. And I do think UF is going to count on him in a big way in the secondary this upcoming season. This will be his 4th year under Billy Napier. And I don't know about you, but I just feel like it is definitely easier to cheer for guys who, 1, stay loyal to a program, 2, start and finish their careers in orange and blue. And I think that that's what we're seeing for Moore. This guy would have had opportunities to hit the portal. He didn't. He stayed. He earned that spot on this roster. And I have so much admiration and appreciation for players that do it the right way. And I do think Devon Moore is that. What do you guys think? Who are some of your potential breakout players for the 2025 season? Let me know down below. Let's talk about it. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Gators.